just want to do a quick review on what square roots are. So in last lesson we were talking about cubed and squared terms or exponents. So anything from a number to a variable can be squared, and you can have parentheses squared, etc. But you could have 5 squared, and 5 squared would equal 5 times 5, which is 25. But you could also have something like x squared, which would be x times x. And in your problems you even had things like y plus 1 squared. And that would have been written out as y plus 1 times y plus 1. Alright, so that's squares. Square roots is when we kind of do the reverse of a square. So you've probably seen a square root before, you're probably familiar with it, but if we have the square root of 25, this symbol right here is the symbol for square root. So when we're asking for the square root, we want to know what the root number is, that if we square that number, we will get whatever's inside the square root sign. Hopefully that made sense. But basically the root of the number is this number times itself equals this. So in this case, well, 25 is 5 times 5. So the square root of 25 is 5. That's our root number. When we square it, it equals 25. You can do this, it's very commonly done with a lot of multiplication facts, so hopefully you're fairly familiar with like what is 6 times 6 and 7 times 7 and 2 times 2. And any of those would be squared, and so then what's the square root of 4? Well, square root of 4 is 2. The root number is 2. If we squared that, we'd get 4. If we wanted to do the square root of, what's my favorite squared number? I really like 49. So 49, what's the square root of 49? Well, so what times itself equals 49? Well, that would be 7. 7 times 7 is 49. So the square root would be 7. That's a terrible 7, but don't worry about that. Alright, so that's as far as your lesson in the book is going to go, but I just wanted to tell you that you can have square roots of variables. So what is the square root of x squared? Well, if we had the root number times itself, the square root of x squared would be x. X times x equals x squared, so our square root is x, and you can do that with literally any variable. What's the square root of y squared? And what's the square root of q squared? Well, the root number, or variable in this case, is q, so that's the square root of q squared. Alright,